go to Starbucks.
And what did you say was the difference between this account and the one
That
that you
one.
documented for us?
This one is my name only.
And this one is,
That's a joint credit
Joint.
card.
okay.
But the Lowe's is my name only.
The Lowe's is your name on there, right? This is a Lowe's credit card, okay. Can we take your coupon?
Well, I didn't read it. I didn't read what they were.
Okay. And if you can submit that to us, that would be great.
Or I can
Otherwise, we
photocopy
can just
the
copy
face
it
of
or
it.
anything like that. Okay, back to you, Mary. 926, 930 in Guilford,
I don't see a 930, but I see a 926.
26 is Tilton, 10-2 Wendy's. 1022, the soda shop in Laconia.
So it's not yellow because it's not filtered.
Well, maybe that's why. That she's left
But
it
it's still there,
visible
yeah.
for us here, right, yeah.
The only thing left, can I eradicate any of those
on
barcodes?
9-1.
Yeah.
You see highlight 9-1? Okay, so there's, it's not highlighted,
No.
it's not different, so that's
Right.
perfectly legitimate. She's,
If you're gonna scrutinize all of this stuff, you know, that I'm not saying it to be.
right, go
Okay.
ahead.
Maybe you wanna arrange for another meeting?
Well,
whereas we can
do we,
do the
don't
voting.
we?
We've been at this for a
I'm not
while.
really.
Yeah, you
Scrutinize.
keep holding it up,
Yeah.
and don't even know how
I'm
long
pretty
you're gonna
satisfied.
take.
Well, I was about ready to say that.
Yeah,
That-
I am
that
very
this is
satisfied, so.
I just don't
Satisfied
think
that
we
there's
should keep
definitely
everybody
evidence
here.
of
Her
using.
local being.
Is any of this for us to keep or just?
No, those are my records, so I want those back.
Okay. What about the redacted one? That's what I'm talking
Sure, you can
about.
take
There
the
was a
redact-
pile of stuff under, I think it's under her
Well,
elbow.
this here
Yeah.
is okay for us to keep,
Correct.
you said.
Correct,
And
I have
so-
already had my credit card
No,
stolen.
I'm only talking about this blue folder.
Yeah, that one I want back because that has all my credit card records.
And all of this goes back to her too.
Oh, I want to look at the Lowe's.
This
Yeah,
stuff
we'll
here
look
is
at the
okay.
laws. No, I'm not being frustrated. I was just looking at where the purchases were made. Alright, so she has a whole history in her name. Which Lowe's for? Okay, here we go. Let's see what she's doing. She's got the Lowe's in Guilford, the Lowe's in Tilton.
Yeah, if they don't have it in Guilford, I usually have to go to Tilton. Occasionally, you might see one there for Bedford if I had to go all the way to Bedford to get what I wanted. The hooks at Lowe's, you'll see some at the hooks at Lowe's because they were going out of business.
I was
And
gonna
that was
say
a
they closed,
great
didn't they?
sale at the hooks at Lowe's.
Was there a Lowe's in Tilton?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's across the,
it's, you gotta
Interstate.
go underneath, go past the freeway.
just past Del Mulas in Walmart.
I've never been there.
It's almost across from the post office, a little further.
It's Lowe's, I didn't know if you wanted to just individually look
Yeah,
at
I'll look
some.
at a couple of them, I'll
A
spot check.
couple, right, yeah. She's got 2011 and she's got on into 2012.
dates of
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, they're all very much the same, they even itemize those off.
I'm good. I would think that would be a little bit more definitive than a dog license.
Yes. Chief has to, I don't think the chief can issue a non-resident a driver, a gun permit. Maybe they can, I don't know.
No.
They can't?
So he does his research.
Well, I would say we cannot be faulted for not doing it.
Yeah, very thorough.
Is this a copy for us, Barbara?
The power of attorney.
Sure, you can keep
not
that.
signed.
You want to keep that with this?
It's just that it was dated from 2009, so I thought that might be useful.
Yeah.
Posting for the website, and you guys had a chance to look at that? Okay, and you had a chance.
I saw the
passport.
passport.
Yeah.
I had one, so I know what it is and where it is. So. I want to be sure to get everything back to her that she needs.
Absolutely. This, we already had. She already had sent us the
Yes, we
PDF.
have
files
That's
on
mine,
the-
that's what I printed off on my computer. I
This
just,
is yours?
yeah, because the red line on the edge, where all my red ink was going.
Look at my list. Are we, given that we spent so much time ahead of time with all this other stuff, that do you think we're ready to talk about in general?
Yeah.
Okay, how we feel about this? I'm gonna check her off on, check off the statements and her name, showing local stuff, records of local purchases, and I have that very high on my list, so that's going to be weighing pretty heavily in that direction. I had in gun registration. I don't know if I put her original voter registration. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because she can't ride, she's not supposed to, and
I realize that, but then none of that would have been called into question if there hadn't been a challenge. So I feel like that after there was a challenge at that point, you can't give a whole lot of credit for the fact that she registered in the first place, because now it's being challenged. What would you say about that?
Well, I would say she had to sign an affidavit, which is on that form. And if she has signed in error, it can be a felony or knowingly.
No. Yeah, it's
It
either.
can be a felony or a misdemeanor. And
One or the other. If you knowingly sign it's something like a voter registration where you're,
I don't have.
it's an affidavit basically on a form. And I should, do you know what the voter registration form?
Wait a minute.
Well,
I
Karen said
I
that-
have it, I have it.
I did too. I did too. Once I go through We're just discussing what weight the original voter registration should carry in our decision, given the fact that the form of the registration itself has an affidavit on it. I found it, Mary.
Oh, okay.
And which says, "I am today registering to vote in city town of Guilford. I understand that to vote in this city town, I must be 18, I'm going to shorten it just a little, U.S. citizen and domiciled in this city town." All right. I wasn't sure we even should show that to me. Is that the actual?
Oh, it's got it right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And she did fill this out when she originally registered. And it also says she acknowledges that she can claim only one city or town as a domicile, and it explains what the domicile, how it's defined. She acknowledges that she's not registering to vote in any other city or town. Well, you can do this. Under penalties for voting fraud set forth, she acknowledges and hereby swears qualified to vote in this city town. Oh, in accordance with 65934, the penalty for knowingly or purposefully providing false information when registering is a Class A misdemeanor with a maximum sentence of blah, blah, blah. Fraudulently registering to vote is subject to a civil penalty. So, we're just discussing that, how much weight that, and you guys both feel that should carry quite a bit of weight.
I do.
Alrighty. Put that on my other list.
Whose was this, Irene?
Yes. I'll put it up high. I tend to agree, well, I can't put it quite that high. I'll add it in here. Anything else?
Can you have the original of these?
I believe so.
I
Yes.
believe you do. Because yours has holes in it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, obviously, I have the bank account information and all of that high on my list, so I have quite a few things that are fairly high now. Do we feel there needs to be a lot any more discussion? Did anybody have questions? Ready to go ahead and consider?
What I recommend, this is something we talked about a little bit, is to, it's a lot of evidence, so I think you need to catalog everything, but I would say it would be helpful as you're coming to a decision to kind of list the evidence that you find creates
That's what
more
she,
likely than not.
that's what she has
Great.
there.
Super.
Well, what I have is a list of what I would have considered to be strong evidence in priority order. More or less checked off, well, I checked off the items that we've seen.
And then you can take that and, turn it into a kind of a written summary kind of thing, saying, this is
Right,
your...
something to draw a summary from. And
Exactly.
yes, if there's any of that redacted information, then maybe a couple of sample sheets. I wasn't clear really if you wanted.
This was, you can keep this. This is my testimony in front of the state.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the bank statements that you already have redacted. If you could identify some of those by writing on them, I don't believe we need to keep
What would you
the
like
entire
me to do?
record, but if some of those could be in the record,
As kind of a sample?
as, yeah, like an
So
example.
sample, so maybe a few pages from each year kind of
Okay,
thing?
sure.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm just gonna scratch out the amounts.
Okay,
fine.
that's fine, oh yeah,
The
absolutely.
location
Yeah.
probably, and a type of purchase, it's like a household thing. That's called. out a lot of souvenirs from Perchance.
Now, do we have to formalize a formal statement before we make a decision, or can we
No, I
make a
think-
decision and
Right,
formalize
I think
a
you can do
formal statement
a written statement
to her
afterwards, yeah.
So we have it in our minutes.
and to
Right.
Mr. Wernick?
Right, and I think it would be good to summarize and have something basically taken from whatever it is you're gonna summarize here, but I think it'd be nice to have it in a written statement afterwards, or a written decision, whether it's in a letter form or, however you want to do it.
Well, what I have on my list, and I mentioned before, is there is a driver's license, records of signing for registered mail in Guilford, we do have that one. There's now a gun registration, records of local purchases, which were very comprehensive. We did 2010, 2011, and 12. And I'm gonna say that she's giving us samples of some of those.
She has a local bank account.
Right, I have that checked off bank
Yeah.
account with Guilford.
Yeah, it's a debit.
It's a Guilford Bank,
Yes, it is.
yes.
TD Bank.
Yeah, TD. And I have the original voter registration, which I've added up into this list. Their business registry. And then the other political stuff is all checked off too. Which, maybe we should just have a little bit of a discussion as to how much weight all the political stuff, because there's a preponderance of that in my mind, obviously, because she does that sort of thing. But to my mind, that just shows that her intent is to be a resident in Guilford. And it's not necessarily indicating the fact of her physical presence, but these other things are pretty conclusive or supportive of the physical presence. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay. Well, do you guys feel like we're ready to take a vote on it?
I am.
All right, the supervisors are going to make a decision as to whether,
This challenge is supported.
well, I had written down my agenda, which the question before us is a yes or no response to whether we feel the challenge to the domicile is supported, let's put it that way, to the extent that that would mean removing her from the voter rolls, or whether it's, she has shown that it's not, she's shown us evidence to indicate that it's not supported well enough to remove her from the voter rolls.
So, state that again, I just want to make sure we have this.
Yeah, I know.
Let me read you the
That's why I had it on
statute,
my agenda.
because the statute, I think, might help you. If the person fails to respond to the 30-day notice or respond but fails to provide proof that establishes that it is more likely than not that the person is qualified, then the person's name shall be removed. So I guess the question is, has Barbara established that it is more likely than not that she is qualified? I think it's easier to put it in the affirmative.
Okay,
Right.
that's what, yeah, you're right. All right, well, backtrack. Go by what Kate just said. We'll vote whether it's more likely than not that she is qualified to vote in the town or ward. And a yes vote will be yes, she is qualified to vote, and a no vote would be no, she is not qualified to vote, based on the domicile evidence that's been presented. So, once you guys vote first, it'll be a tiebreaker. Yes if she stays on, and no if she needs to be removed.
I say yes, she stays on.
I say yes, she stays on.
I agree. I say yes, that she is, it's more likely than not that she's qualified to, she meets the domicile qualification in Guilford.
And we have all the supportive evidence
That's right.
You
in
have
our file.
Plenty of documentation. All right, I guess, any further?
Can I make a closing statement, closing argument for the,
It
I
really
think the
isn't like
vote
a
is
hearing,
right.
this is more of just a meeting of the
Yeah.
supervisors.
well, just as a point of suggestion, ladies, you know, in Guilford, we have many seasonal or part-time residents, okay? These residents may not be using all of the town services, so they may tend to vote more conservatively, okay? And so I suspect that they may be challenged also, okay? Very few individuals have the wherewithal that I do to produce the type of records that I can produce, okay? So if this were to happen to anyone else in the future, this would be my recommendation, having been the subject of challenge, is that when the person makes the challenge, okay, like in this case, Mr. Wernick, and presents information to you, that you might table your vote on that information until the person has a chance to respond. Then based on that response, give your 30-day notice,
I
okay?
don't believe that makes the letter of the law.
Unfortunately not.
No, it doesn't.
We have to
We're
follow.
not allowed to use discretion in the way we go about these procedures.
Or
Follow the procedure the way it's specified.
or at least ask the person who's making the challenge to inform the person that they're challenging.
But we don't know
We have
that
no
ahead
control
of
over
time.
that. We honestly have no
We didn't
control over
know
that.
that he was.
It's not even a credible challenge until the point the supervisors consider it and decide whether it's credible or not.
Well, it just seems like a voter intimidation.
Well, then possibly the remedies in the legislature.
I was thinking,
And
yeah,
to say that's the way
make it a
that it would be
legislative issue.
remedied is
You certainly
get the laws
have
changed.
had the experience to do that.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my list
There you go.
of all the things I need to fix.
Well, I'm going to declare this meeting adjourned. It's 1:05, is that right?
All right.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much, ladies, for taking such careful consideration. I really appreciate that. And it is very much gives good faith in the democratic process.
Well, thank you for being willing and able to provide as much documentation.
Yeah, I tried to make it as easy as possible for you. But, you know, we live in a very complicated world, and there's lots of complications out there, and having had a residence in Bedford, all that information just lays around, and people pick up and use it to their own devices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Croc TV.